Good afternoon and welcome to my garden. Today I want to talk a little bit about rhubarb. You have here, look at this huge leaf. This plant was just set out in the spring. It was a 1-year seedling. I got from Aldi. Bare root plant came from Aldi. Two plants for $5.50. Most places were wanting $6 and $7 for one little crown, piece of root with a crown on it. And I got these nice plants, quite reasonable. See, it is already suckering out with another crown on the side. And we can see the size of these stalks. That's a pretty good stalk, a rhubarb. And I can't harvest it yet. We do need to leave our rhubarb for at least next year. I may pull a few stalks off, but not many. I will not start really harvesting earnest till this plant is 3 years old. Been in the ground at least 2 years here. But I was a market gardener and I run several market stalls for several years, and rhubarb in this area was really a good seller. But it was very hard to grow. So I worked to come up with a way to grow rhubarb for market, and I have adapted it to our homeowners' use. I no longer need that amount, so I'm doing it smaller scale here. And this is some tips that I learned. Here I have a raised bed here. This is an old tractor tire, and I've cut the sidewalls out, top and bottom. And last year I filled this with compost and sand and topsoil. Mixed it till I got a nice soil. Loose, well drained. Our soils here are quite hard, heavy clay. They do not drain well, and rhubarb likes drainage. Our springs are often way too wet, our summers are too hot and dry, our falls are wet, and our winters are inconsistent, so we have trouble with frost heaving. This takes care of our drainage problem in the spring. Where it is located, it gets partial shade part of the day during the heat of summer. And I've had other batches of rhubarb in this area. I have others that I'm harvesting that are to the end of their useful life. But I did want to start with nice healthy plants for the purpose of this video. So I purchased new plants rather than doing crown divisions. And watering in the summer, rhubarb needs a nice consistent moisture. And this is how I solve that issue. I take this 5-gallon plastic pail. This is when the handle broke. Bored a hole in it, and I put a valve on the side here. And I can open this up if I need to water faster. Shut it off. Slow it. Usually I just let it dribble out over the course of the day. And that will keep our rhubarb with a consistent moisture. And I'll get it there. There we go. And that gives it a nice consistent moisture. Today I will set it on this side. Tomorrow I'll move it to the other side of the bed, and that waters these two plants. Which, as you can see, are doing quite well. We're in a drought. From these plants, you'd never know it. Our grass is browning right now, and it should be in our best growing yet. But things are burning up, and you never know it on this rhubarb. But in this water, I'm using pond water. I can add fish emulsion next year. I do not want to be adding anything this year. Manure tea or a water-soluble fertilizer to feed our rhubarb. This year, it's going to just get by on what was in the soil. That very fertile, good, well-drained soil that we made to fill this raised bed. And there's about 14 inches of soil here in this tire to give us our drainage. Come fall, we will, once it dies back and goes dormant, we will mulch it to moderate the freezing and thawing, keep it from frost heaving. And we do mulch it during the summer to help keep the soil cool and moist, of course, and weed control. Our only real pest, there is a rust beetle we have to watch for. And we can control that either with a companion planting. Some onions, top set onions stuck in here will take care of them somewhat. Or some marigolds, something to keep the smell off. We can use some of our organic pesticides that are specific for rhubarb rust beetle, or for rust beetles in general. Or we can use 7 to keep it under control, keep these beetles. But we don't need to spray unless we see bugs. We really don't need to worry. And if our plants are really healthy like this, bugs are really not an issue for rhubarb as a general rule. And that's what I have for rhubarb. And if you're going to do this on any scale, I do recommend you try it ahead of time. Do a small patch, maybe 1 or 2 plants. Tweak it as needed for your particular situation. If you found something of use or have any additional suggestions, do feel free to leave those in the comments section, and give us a like and a subscribe if you got anything out of this. And as always, have a wonderful day and keep